Hello, good afternoon. I thought I'd come back live because I've been receiving an awful lot of information, but this has been an ongoing process for me over the many years. A lot of things are unfolding at this time, a lot of activations, downloads, signs, synchronicities, and so forth. I have shared much over the years with regards to Horus. Horus is my divine masculine. I work with Horus. He's my guide, my main guide, my twin flame. Often or not, Horus will show me things in altered state. I would receive a lot of visions coming through, past life visions and so forth. This is why I'm working very much with the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records is the fundament of healing and the embracing of whom we are as souls, being able to access our divine qualities and attributes, and to be able to shift, heal, and to ascend. As we connect with the Akashic Records, so much information comes through about our soul journeys. And working with Horus, he's shown me that he too is a man of his Akashic Record. Over the last couple of lives, I've shared much about the Notre, the 144 code, Revelation 7, etc., etc. And during these lives, I mentioned 4 points. The 4 points, the 4 pillars that I saw as I was connecting to the Notre Dame and to the energy of Notre Dame. I'm going to share a little bit about Horus and his past life, and his bloodshed. And I'm going to quickly refresh for those of you who haven't really looked at my live a couple of days ago. I shared much about the Grail Cup, because I saw a Grail Cup. I was working with a lady, and the Grail Cup came through as I was speaking to her about the Notre Dame, the fires, the purification, and so forth. And the Grail Cup, I had this sign coming in, which is like, to me, it's a Grail Cup, and I had speaking about Horus's lifetimes. You know, he's been executed, or he's been executed by the Freemasons, the Catholics, the Jews, the commoners. I was talking about King Louis and Marie Antoinette, which is a past life that's come through in a big way. And as I connected with the death and the condemnation of Louis of France and Marie Antoinette, we had 4 assemblies. And just recently we had the 4-4 gateway, and the 4-4 gateway, interesting enough, because I do law. My reference at law is a 4-4 code as well. So everything's coming in. But Louis of France had 4 assemblies, and these 4 assemblies brought about, they made the decision to eradicate the monarchy. Freemasons, Catholics, Jews, and commoners, 4 assemblies. Now, I'm actually going to talk to you now about the Christ energy, because the Christ energy has been, over the years, over the centuries, over the eons, condemned to death. Okay, for whatever reason. And today on this Good Friday, the church celebrates the crucifixion of Yeshua on the cross. So let's have a look at Yeshua, bless him. And I'm going to tell you where the connections are, because all this, it ties in with Horus. And this is who Horus is. The Jews, the Pharisees, the Sadducees were the ones that condemned Yeshua because they felt threatened with the Christ energy. They feared the truth's unfolding. So what do? They hand him over to the Romans and they condemn him to death. Bloodshed is poured. And again, we have a look. We are now getting the Grail. Okay, so the Grail again is activated. And it's the pouring of the blood, and it's about the metaphor of it is about the sacred bloodline. Okay, centuries later, there is an uprising, and special artifacts in Israel need protecting, and the church establishes an order. There's a faction within the church. They establish the Knights Templars. A lot of crusades were taking place at that time, and the Knights Templars were established. There were 9 of them at that time, and the very first Grand Master was Heru-Satyanarayan. Heru-Satyanarayan is an incarnation of Horus, and he's often come in spirit form, and he's actually spoken greatly about his role as Heru-Satyanarayan. He was a monk, and he had to become a warrior. And Horus has actually said to me it's not something that he wanted to do in that particular lifetime, because he embraced the orders, the holy orders, and the last thing he wanted to do is go out to war. So yes, he was the first Grand Master, and then the last Grand Master. The last Grand Master is, I'm now going to speak to you about the last Grand Master, Jacques de Molay. Again, Jacques de Molay is tied in with the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail, again, bloodshed. So what happens is that King Philip of France, and let's have a look now. Both Heru-Satyanarayan and Jacques de Molay are French. Okay, so there's a connection. So we have the first and the last Knight Templar. The last Knight Templar, Heru-Satyanarayan, and his knights have been asked to come back to France from the Middle East. They've doing an awful lot of work protecting the artifacts. A lot of significant connections with Solomon's Temple. Solomon's Temple is very paramount, and King Philip of France borrowing a lot of money from the Templar Knights. When I've spoken to Horus in these vibrations, he's spoken to me greatly about the honouring of the Divine Mother energy and the feminine, and how they upheld and honoured the feminine presence. They did an awful lot of that within that particular era, the Templar Knights. So anyway, they come back. They were because Philip of France did not want to pay the monies back, he then condemned Jacques de Molay and the Templar Knights, collaborated with the Catholics, and had them tortured to the point that they were making confessions on things that they did not do. This is what torture did. And then Jacques de Molay, he actually retracted, and he said, no, this is not the truth. The truth is. And they were condemned to the fires. They were condemned to the stake. So they were burnt at the stake. Jacques de Molay, he then gave a curse to King Philip of France and to the Pope, and within months they were dead. This is the Friday the 13th curse. In this particular lifetime, I have, and I've got photographic evidence, worked very closely at releasing the this curse, helping to heal Jacques de Molay and the Templar Knights by trying to energetically reach a pardon. And for many years I have been going to church. I knew people in high places, including Cardinal Hume, and I knew it will either be Cardinal Hume or Ratzinger for the Pope. One of them were going to be called to do the pardoning and to release the Templar Knights. And it was Benedict that did that. And when he did that, he stepped down. And his excuse for stepping down is that he could no longer have control over the Catholic Church. He did not feel that he could move forward with that current situation that was taking place, with the challenges that are faced with the Catholic Church. So I did an awful lot of energetic work. I was in the cathedral, connecting with my higher energy, my higher self. I've also got photograph as I'm doing the releasing of the releasing and the healing and the pardoning, where I've energetically gone into the Catholic Church, connected with that energy, and I have the Templar cross right in front of me. I can also tell you that the energy of Joan of Arc works with this energy, the Templar cross, because Joan of Arc is the divine feminine of Jacques de Molay. I am fully aware of the lifetime energetically, akashically, of Joan of Arc. I have the photograph of me inside the cathedral when I was doing the energy work. So the Catholics condemned Jacques de Molay to the flames. I'm now going to move forward to Louis of France, Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette. I have for some time, over recent months, this last year, been feeling an awful lot of pressure at the back of my neck, tears flowing. I had no recollection, didn't really mean much to me, and all of a sudden, in altered state, I was receiving visions, impressions on my neck where I felt it's like something has completely sliced my neck, you know. A lot of impressions, a lot of visions. I've also had two ladies recently connected with this particular timeline, Akashic line, in different capacities, whilst we were doing Akashic work. And they had recall in different capacities as well. So again, we're getting the Grail and the Grail and the royal bloodline. I have visions of the guillotine, And again, the four elements, again, Freemasons, Catholics, Jews, commoners. Right, the Freemasons were the ones that designed the guillotine. Freemasonry took control over France in a big way during this era, during the time of Louis, certainly Louis the 15th and Louis the 16th. Freemasonry was very big, very prominent within that time frame. Got recollection of Count of Saint Germain as well, giving advice. Was one of our councils. He also foretold that bloodshed would be prevailing at the hands of the executioner's blade. He actually came and told I'm going to say us in that particular lifetime, because I'm recalling this. And anyway, I also had some recall of trying to escape France. It was a lifetime not to be honoured, a lifetime that brought shame. When I was receiving visions, I said to Horus, what does this mean? It kind of brought tears every time I was recalling. What does this mean? Why am I crying? Is this something we need to be released? The tears were coming down my face. 36 hours of I had a massive shutdown. Tears, you name it. Why am I being shown this? Why am I being shown this? So he then turned around. I said, is this significant for me and you? He said, yes. It is a lifetime not to be honoured, but a lifetime that needs to be released. So I said, are you Louis then? He said, yes. I said, who am I? He said, this is for you to work out for yourself who you are, you being shown. So I keep going back. Am I Marie Antoinette? Because I do not want to take a lifetime that does not belong to me. But then I keep going back and I have to say, Spirit, why are you showing me this? Why are you showing me this? So anyway, I'm getting a lot of signs, a lot of symbols, and all of a sudden, Notre Dame. And I'm receiving an awful lot of information. So I want to go back now. So we now got Freemasons killing Louis. We've got Catholics killing Jacques de Molay. Jews killing Yeshua. The commoners now. Okay, the commoners. I'm now going into collective. Now, we are the very essence of the Christ consciousness, because all these four pillars are the cardinal points. These points are different aspects, different areas that need healing. The commoners, we are the very essence. So when we are working within the Christed light, the Christ consciousness, we then become rejected. We become, it's like the rejection comes in. We become, we feel like we're martyrs. We feel we're indifferent. But anyone that's working within the Grail, the sacred bloodline, you know, working within the Christed light, can feel that they are being rejected. They feel a sense of martyrdom. And this is something that needs to be released on this particular day, especially. And it is being released, because what is now happening with the Notre Dame, as I've explained in my last two lives, Notre Dame has a lot of metaphors within its walls, within its meaning. As I said on my last live, this is the portal of the Ascension. Okay, so see that, say if you have a look at the Divine Mother Goddess and the pomegranate, it looks a little bit like the pomegranate. But also see that as this is our head, and that's our crown chakra, as the energy flows down, bringing that flow of energy coming in from source, coming in from the galactic center, from the great central sun. So basically that's coming in. So if we look upwards, that's coming in from north. North Pole, North Throne, North. Okay, Notre means north. Okay, Notre means north. N is the 14th letter of the alphabet. Dame is lady. Okay, lady is the divine feminine, the goddess energy. Okay, lady of the north. D is number 4, so we put 1, 4 and 4 together, gives us 144. So we have now activated 144th degree cosmic consciousness. So the metaphors and events, cosmic shifts all happening at this time. As I said within my last live this morning, I read Revelation chapter 7. Now, I'm going to Revelation chapter 7, going back to the 4 cardinal points, okay? Because the Krystos energy is very much the lamb, the sacred lamb. So the sacred lamb, bloodshed, okay, 4 corners, okay. I'm just going to read some bits and pieces from Revelation chapter 7, because we are enacting at this time a lot of metaphorical shifts that are happening, that have been forewarned in Revelation. So if we look at chapter 7, after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding 4 winds of the earth, that should not blow upon the earth, nor upon the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the rising of the sun, having the sign of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, nor the sea, nor the trees, till we sign the servants of our God on their foreheads. And the servants that have been signed on their foreheads, and I'm going to explain now, are those ones have been signed, are the ones that came forth, through the waters of the Red Sea. So many of you that have experienced going through the waters of the Red Sea, i.e. the time of Moses, as we depart into the land of freedom. We see that as a metaphor of our ascension. Okay, so we have the tribes of Judah, 12,000 signs of each tribe. Okay, and it goes on for each tribe. So we got 12,000 times 12, which is 144,000. Okay, and then it goes on. then it goes on for the Lamb, which is 7:17. For the Lamb that is in the midst of the throne shall rule upon them, and shall lead them to the fountains of the waters of life, and God shall wipe away all the tears from their eyes. Now I'm going back now to the metaphors. Okay, now the metaphors of this event or series of events that have happened this week. So we have the fire of the Notre Dame has come through. Okay, the fires coming through, and the fires signify purification. We have to go through the flames of purification in order for us to evolve, to grow, and to ascend. We also have to return to the north. As we're returning to the north, we get here. Okay, so as we are working our Kundalini, and that Kundalini coil is unleashing, it ascends up north, okay, from root up to crown. Okay, so we have to allow that rebirth process to happen, to take place. So we also are returning to Eden. We're returning back to whence time first began. So the fire of purification is a time of light and renewal, and a time of growth, new growth, in order to manifest. 144 cosmic consciousness is now activated. We are working within the 144 and 144,000. That is now activating. Certainly this Revelation chapter 7 has ignited in a metaphorical way this week. And when I say that the Notre Dame must be rebuilt, yes, it must be rebuilt. Whether it be in the physical capacity, because it has to be rebuilt in the physical capacity as a reminder to humanity, for those whom have not awakened yet, so that it can serve as a metaphor to the unawakened, to activate the unawakened, but also to serve that metaphor within our spiritual lives. For those whom have awakened will understand the reasoning why that has to be rebuilt, because it is about our inner growth, our inner manifestation, about rebirth and renewal. So I'm going to leave that with you all on this tide of pink moon, the pink full moon in Libra. A beautiful day of great balance. Okay, the divine masculine and the divine feminine is now healing and rising and activating. So be blessed on this day, whether you're celebrating Good Friday, celebrating the I would say it's like the death and the releasing of things that no longer serve us, but entering into newness, into new growth, to new light and manifestation, purity and light. And as we are awakening into those divine energies, we become ignited to the 144th degree cosmic consciousness, the ascension lights and the encodements that will ignite our ascension process and greater healing. So I'm going to leave that with you all, dear ones. Thank you for joining me. God bless you all. Thank you.